Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to my stream. I hope you're all having a good and wonderful day. Hopefully the weather isn't so bad where you are. I know it's getting a little bit colder. It is in Winnipeg here because obviously I live in the fucking tundra. But other than that, it's not so bad. -10 isn't that big of a deal for me. But mainly I wanted to talk about Manny Ottawa because this guy can't get enough of the PPC still, even weeks after the election. Still, when I look at his Twitter, I see at least 5 to 6 tweets each and every day of the PPC or Max Bernier or whatever. And I don't go necessarily seeking out his account, but I'm like I'm looking through, I don't know, Ezra Levant's Twitter. Then he retweets him. So I'm like, I'm going to go look to see what he's tweeting. And a lot of it's still like, where's Maxime Bernier? He's still not back to work. Blah, blah, blah. Yada, yada, yada. So, he's funny. I like looking at his tweets. They make me laugh. Plus, I got a few other things that I have to show you guys like that I'd like to discuss. But let's see the first tweet that he compared or that he showed, which has to do with immigration. So I guess Manny Ottawa is one of these conservatives that think that immigrants will one day vote for the Conservative Party, which is just crazy. If you're looking at the statistics from last election, all of the majority immigrant communities pretty much all voted Liberal, 2 voted NDP, and then 2 voted Conservative, which I think were like Richmond and some Asian communities, right? So realistically, it's only going to be kind of Asians at the most that are kind of like these conservative principles. But he's going on his Twitter account saying like, oh, the conservatives are missing out all these conservative immigrants. This could be a boom for the party. But he's like, I'm an immigrant, and myself and me and my whole family vote conservative. And I'm like, are you stupid? Like, really, you're using these stupid arguments like, oh, me and my family, we're conservative, so that means all immigrants are conservative. Well, first of all, you're white, okay? And I see all these white people, they're like, oh, I'm an immigrant and I vote conservative. I'm like, yeah, because you're fucking white, you idiot. Majority of white people, regardless of being immigrants and stuff, will on average vote right wing. But that's not the case with all of the immigrants we're bringing in, which the majority of them are not white, okay? They're black, brown, and Asian. Now, yes, it's true that they're socially conservative, but that's it. They're not conservative in the way that we want them to be conservative. Right? Like, it's good that they're against gays and in teaching in school and all that crap. Like, I'm for that. When the Muslims are protesting the LGBT classes that are being taught in schools, well, yeah, that's good. But that's pretty much the only thing that we agree on and that they agree on, right? Other than that, that's pretty much the only thing that we can get together on. So I think a bunch of Muslims voted for Doug Ford because he said that he was going to stop the curriculum and stuff. But now that you have an Islamic Party of Ontario, do you think they're still going to vote for Doug Ford now that they have that option, which is going to give them even more of what they want? But see, Manny Ottawa is leading people down a bad path, and he's making you think he's the one that's letting you slowly boil in the pot like a frog. Say, don't worry, guys. Don't worry. We're going to convince all these immigrants coming into Canada to vote for the Conservative Party. Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't listen to the PPC bigots, which he showed a couple tweets where he's like, oh, they're racist. And he showed a tweet of Neil Edmondson. I think he follows my channel. I've seen his name around before. I swear to God, he follows my channel. And he said, look at this guy. He said, look how sexist he is, blah, blah, blah. But I'll show the tweet a little bit later. Well, let's check out the chat. Hey, Faye, how's it going? Hey, Kali Koka. Quit race trolling. Not race trolling. Why does dude fear brown people? I don't fear brown people, but The problem is that the more brown people in Canada, the worse it's gonna get. Yeah, sure. I fear living in a poor country. I fear increased violence. I fear socialism. And if you look at voting patterns, all immigrants vote for the left, and the left wants open borders, socialism, all this crap that I don't want. So it's actually not racist to try to stop immigration to prevent people in entering our country because they are completely opposed to everything that I want. It's like, oh, it's fear, bro. It's like, you're just a fucking idiot. Oh, yeah. Where's your your rainbow poppy, right? I heard about that story actually today, too. There was a girl that was suspended in northern Manitoba for wearing a poppy, a rainbow poppy. And, this is insane. You better comply to this gay shit or we're going to suspend you. Are you kidding me? But you see, they come in. It's like, we just want to be accepted. Oh, really? But you want to take everything over and switch everything. We should change the Canadian flag to have some rainbows going through it to make the gays happy. Let's do that. I'm telling the principals. Rainbow poppies are a disgrace. Yeah, I agree, Stan. That's so disrespectful. Yeah, exactly. It's disrespectful. There's something that Derek just shared on his Telegram where this one girl showed like this poster, this written out statement, which I thought was pretty interesting. I'll probably show it a little bit later. But let's see here. Who's in the chat? Let me take off top chat because it always has top chat on, but you got to put on live chat so you can see everybody's shit. The Legion should sue. Isn't the poppy copywritten? Yeah, he shared something else about the Legion and something about the poppy, right? So they probably should sue, and that's ridiculous. The poppy already. If your grandpa was gay and went to the war and died, the poppy is honoring him too. Okay, it's honoring everybody, but no, we got to make it a rainbow color, and we're gonna ban and suspend anybody who doesn't wear it. Like, this is ridiculous. The Poppy Fund is a huge portion of veteran funding. Unfortunately, they want to attack the main source of funding for vets by making. That's a good point, Stan. So Stan's saying essentially, by changing the Poppy to that, now they're going to be losing a lot of funding, which is true. How liberals hate veterans so much. It's incredible. It's really incredible how much they hate veterans. How Trudeau can go to that Brock guy and say something like, "Hey, we don't have enough money for you," but at the same time he's giving money to China. He's for their infrastructure. He's giving money to all these foreign countries to help with women development and all this crap. He just the money he throws away is astounding when you could be helping these people, but he doesn't care about he hates veterans. That's what it appears like. But let's see the first thing with Manny Ottawa. I want to share that because Manny is just a subversive piece of shit. And, he's going to be leading Canadians astray, right? So he's like, I'm an immigrant. So are my 4 brothers. We all voted conservative, as well as adult kids. And just because you voted conservative doesn't make you better, because the conservatives are shit too. They've been shit for a very long time. And, that's on you for why they have consistently moved further left as well, because you're not calling them out on it. But let's see here. Here's the tweet. Maybe you should understand immigrants have greater conservative values than Canadians. Why not reach out to immigrants instead of hating them? You'd be surprised. That's what I do. And he's responding to Zio Joe, who said, get used to nostalgia. Your 350,000 immigrants / year plus border jumpers are not voting conservative ever. So, this guy is saying some truth right here. Manny Ottawa doesn't want to listen to it. He wants to promote that fallacy like, oh, just because I think something, that means all immigrants think the same way I do. And it's like, yes, they're more socially conservative, but they're not conservative in the way that we want. The only way that the Conservative Party is going to get these voters is if they move further left. Okay. Especially when it comes to the border and stuff, right? Yeah, Manny is a tool. He's a huge tool. Trudeau might lay a wreath for ISIS veterans. Probably. We are praising communist vets at Canadian Legions. Yeah, I heard about that too. The Islamic vets. Well, they're given thousands of dollars or millions of dollars in court. They're gonna battle veterans in court. But when it comes to ISIS members, not even Omar Khadr, they gave millions of dollars to a few other terrorists as well too. They're like, well, Canadian is a Canadian. Unless you're an old stock Canadian, then you can go fuck yourself. Let's see here, the chat. But yeah, Manny Ottawa is a piece of shit. I hate this guy. You see a bunch of conservatives in the bottom. But this guy makes sense. Like no one I know hates immigrants, but we hate irresponsible government. Me too, Manny. I doubt illegal immigrants are the problem. I suspect my fellow urban stock Canadians who have become enamored with social progressivism, PC culture, hipsterism, and identity politics for this hideous election outcome. No. Yes, there are a bunch of stupid leftists, but importing more immigrants who vote left isn't going to make the problem any better. But, you got just really stupid people. In U-Day, Manny, immigrants were legal. This guy's smart. He's just like, not anymore. He is right. These new immigrants, illegals, pushed immigration, don't love Canada. In fact, as crime increases in Canada, we know for a fact they want to destroy Canada, and it's coming. Actually, the immigrants I meet are pleasant, industrious, and want exactly what all of us want, to look after our families and be happy. It's like, you're just an idiot. Yes, most people want that. I don't think they necessarily want to come and take us over, but it's clear that people have tribalism, in-group preference, and nepotism. So it's not good to bring in a bunch of different cultures who are going to be fighting amongst themselves, right? It's just stupid. All governments are irresponsible. That's why conservatives want minimal government. Yeah, exactly. And very few immigrants want minimal government. Manny's right. They're socially conservative, but that's about it. Though they don't like the gays and stuff. But so far, if you look at what they're trying to do with Andrew Scheer recently, and they're like, do you believe being gay is a sin? Do you think being gay is a sin? Like, what? How is this even relevant to anything? Really, it's not relevant to policy or anything like that. But they're like, well, why aren't you answering about whether gay is being a sin? See, they keep attacking Christianity constantly. It's making me want to be a Christian just in spite of those people, right? Hey, Chad, how's it going? Yeah, Europeans are the only ones too stupid on average to understand most groups are tribal. They are not. Only time until Europeans are wiped out. Yeah. That's the thing, like we are tribal too, to a large extent. We're tribal. They're tribal. But it's been bred out of us for many, many years. So now we a lot of white people, they think that they're looking at other groups and thinking, oh, they're just like me. Essentially, they don't have in-group preferences. They're not thinking like that, but a lot of them are. So, you got to take that into consideration. But what do you know, though? But Manny Ottawa is a stupid idiot trying to promote lies and bullshit. What else did he promote as well or show here? Was this tweet right here? Okay, let me share this one here. So this is what he thinks too. So he's either he's stupid, which I don't think he is. I don't think he's stupid, or he's misleading you. He's misleading you to think that, oh, don't worry, guys. we can have these huge rates of immigration because all these countries are socially conservative. These are top 10 countries of origin of Canadian immigrants. Not one country on the list is more liberal progressive than Canada. So if immigrants continue their learned practices, Canada should be more conservative. Conservatives need to understand, message, exploit this fact. Right. So, he's pretty stupid. So this guy from Breitbart, journalist, English Canadian traditionalist monarchist, says they vote for people who want to keep the border open, which is a left-wing point of view. Not to mention most immigrants in general are middle-class liberals in any society, as conservatives tend to immigrate in the first place, tend not to immigrate in the first place. So, he's looking at look at India, Philippines, China, Syria, America, Pakistan, France, Nigeria, UK, Iraq. Oh, these are all conservative nations. Iraq, all these Iraqis are going to be conservatives in the future. And let's just say they were. I don't care. I don't want to be replaced by people who are conservative too. Stay in your own country and be conservative. Make your country conservative, and then we can have a whole world with small governments, and then that'd be great for everybody. But I don't care if you are conservative like me or a libertarian or whatever. No. Now, I'm not going to turn you away if you're already in a country and say, hey, I want to promote less immigration and all this shit. But I don't care. Bringing more of you in is still going to diminish my group, right? So, and they're not going to be conservative either, or right wing or libertarian. So, that's just bullshit, stupid thinking. They're just, misleading you. Oh, hey, Derek, how's it going, buddy? Everybody subscribe to Rants Derek if you are not already. I think I saw him saying that he's going to be doing a stream later on today with, I think, Brock. Toronto might become LA North with imported diseases. Of course, they're attacking Christian. Time for another crusades. BC is LA North. I am glad the computer network connection is smooth as butter today. Great stream, AJ. Oh, thank you. Don't speak too soon, though. It could switch any moment. Monarchists equal not into worshiping elected leaders. Okay. What does Jeffrey Epstein and Christmas lights have in common? They don't hang themselves. That's a good one, man. No, the monarch is selected for you. You have no choice. Yeah, I'm not a monarchist. Like, yeah, I agree. Like, it said he was a monarchist something. And I was like, well, it's because people are English and they're like, oh, I love the Queen because I'm English and that's a part of our culture and in our heritage or some shit. And you're like, whatever. Fuck that bullshit. They get rid of her position, take her money, take her lands, take her fucking shit, and give it to the people or something. Or I don't know, because they don't deserve it. They didn't earn any of that shit. Yeah, the Queen is a pedo, right? I don't know if for sure, but that's what I've heard. And Prince Williams, we know he's probably associated with some pedo shit, especially considering that whole Epstein thing recently that just came out where ABC said they weren't going to show the what happened, or I mean, they had all this information that they sat on for 3 years. But, what do you know? Put her on BPP wages. Yeah. Crown can fuck off. Queen is Alan. Call them vampires. Fallen angel, Satan are all very accurate. They are low-key cannibals, bro. Be woke. Yeah, they're low-key cannibals. They might be. I don't know. I wouldn't doubt it. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised if they were cannibals. I'd be like, oh, okay. That king killing worked so well in France comes the guillotine. Well, just because them killing their king and then replacing it with something bad doesn't mean that getting rid of the monarchy is a bad thing, because America didn't have a monarchy. America didn't have a king and a queen, and they are the most successful nation in history, in all of history, the richest, the most successful, and it's getting worse and worse because they're becoming more and more socialist. But they had the freest nation, the best, and they didn't need the king or the queen or any of that shit for that, right? They're not essential. Is that the Mayflower behind you? It is the Mayflower. I don't know. It's not. It's just some random boat picture I found. And I was like, this is pretty nice. I'm going to buy this. She used to get a bunch of native children when she came to Canada for human sacrifice. Yeah, I heard something like cannibals, research Elizabeth Bathory of Vlad the Impaler, the Jimmy Savile, all pedos and cannibals. Well, yeah, Jimmy Savile, the BBC was covering for that guy for I don't know how many years. So it's, this is a pattern of media stations covering for pedophiles or pedophiles a lot. Jimmy Savile, Epstein, countless others, I'm sure. What do they do with what's that guy who came out, that actor who said that I'm gay? He came out as an excuse for assaulting that one kid, and the media pretty much just covered that, right? What's his name comes out as being gay after those allegations come out, right? So, they cover for them continuously. They stole those Indian babies. Did you hear that May said about stepping down? She can finally eat meat again. Doesn't have to be around all those vegans. Did she actually say that? Kevin Spacey. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, Kevin Spacey. Is it the blue noser? Well, let me check out some more Ottawa or Manny Ottawa tweets, which are pretty funny, because here, this is somebody, I'm pretty sure this guy follows me. I've seen his tweets before. And so he's like, wow, did you actually tweet that? How disgusting. How sexist. I guess in your hate-filled PPC world, women are not allowed in PPCs. Man, I'm so right about you bigoted racist PPCs. Thanks for proving me right. Blocked. So Neil Edmondson, I've seen this avatar and his name before. I'm pretty sure. I think this guy follows me, and he's like, men talking politics here. Sweetie, beat it. And look at Blue Apple is in the bottom. Oh, Manny, that's nothing. You wouldn't believe the crap I've had to take. The women are the worst. Gotta laugh. The fucking Blue Apple, you stupid fucking whore. Like, you stupid bitch. Look at her. Oh, Manny, that's nothing. Derek treated me terribly and treated my friend horribly. You wouldn't believe what he said about me. AJ also said he wanted me to die. The humanity, but these two are made for each other. They should marry, be wed, and go and vote for Andrew Scheer and stuff. Right? It was funny. I watched what's her name, the stream with Blue Apple and Garvey the other day, and essentially, he was still like shitting on Scheer the whole time, be like, no, he's a globalist too, right? And Blue Apple's like, yeah, I guess so. I guess you're right. That's true. But I think he's working with Trump, and I think he actually loves Canadians, and blah blah blah. Like, you idiot, you fucking idiot. Like, fuck. I don't even know if Max gives a shit or believes any of what he says. I've never said he does. I've never said, oh, he's the legit guy, or never believed. I like the ideas, the principles. I like the fact that a party is started that is pushing this, that actually had some steam, not Garvey's party that had like 60 people in it or something, right? Just completely irrelevant, and with somebody who has like Asperger's leading it. Now, that doesn't mean I think all his policies are stupid, and some of what he was saying, just saying like, yeah, it's true. I agree, and it would be better. He'd be better than some politicians per se. But I don't really trust the guy because he was all saying, "Oh, the dairy cartel is good for Canadians and it's good for the Canadian jobs, and Maxine wants to destroy it." I'm like, so what? Are you for small government or not, or what? Because you don't understand the issues with supply management. It just really. And Faye, don't say anything. Don't say anything, Faye. Keep your mouth shut. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But guys, it's like all these other industries don't have supply management. The beef industry, the dairy industry. I mean, the whatever, all these pork or something, they don't have supply management because they don't have to, because there's no point. They don't need to. They can exist without it. There's no point of limiting the supply because they're like, oh, we're going to be wasting milk or something. Like, what? What are you talking about? It's like, no, it's just limiting the supply. Stop limiting the supply. Okay. You can still restrict milk that comes in from America. You can still do that if you want, for fuck's sakes. But if you could just stop restricting the supply or making it a market, well, okay, this cow, you can only produce this much milk a year. That's it. No more, no less. The rest you got to throw out, right? It's like, it's just stupid, but whatever. Hey, Gary, how's it going? What do you think of the Fuentes Gropers? Do you think there will be a Canadian faction? I don't know. I think possibly, right? I think there's definitely going to be a stray between the mainstream conservatives and the more based people or something that understand the issues about immigration and all this other crap, right? So there's people like Manny Ottawa who's like, don't worry, these immigrants are going to vote for us one day. So what are these racists worried about when that's not going to happen? So whereas with Fuentes, it's kind of weird because it's like there's like an offshoot, the TPSA whatever, from the mainstream conservatives, and they're more of an offshoot from the alt-light, they're the alt-right compared to the alt-light. And fucking Kirk is like just a Zionist essentially, and he's not even necessarily, I wouldn't even say he's alt-light, he's just a Zionist and fucking deceptive and in it for money and fame and all that shit, right? Whereas someone like Paul Joseph Watson, I think, I would say he's more kind of like alt-light, more bordering on alt-right-ish, because he will talk about race IQ and talk sometimes about like Israel and all that stuff, right? He's not necessarily whatever, but I don't know, to be honest. I couldn't tell you. Maybe that'd be good. I'm making your wife laugh. Well, I'm good. I'm glad I can make her laugh, man. Stop immigration, watch everything get better. Yeah, I completely agree, Sully. That would be like, if we could shut off the tap for a minute, for a few years, you would see wages go up. You would see housing prices go down. You would see just a lot of benefits. You would see crime start to go down. And, it'd be better for everybody. And people would be like, we should be doing more of this. How were we convinced by these liars that immigration is a good thing for the country? And now I'm not against all immigration in the sense, like, sometimes you go to another country, you meet somebody or something, you bring them over with you, whatever. But, it needs to be drastically reduced, or at least a moratorium for a few years. But let's see here. Hey, Jay. Okay, I already read that. Hey, Jay and group. Hey, truth-seeking Canadians. How's it going? The fuck is a groper? Those are like, I don't know exactly. I don't know the terminology of this stuff too well, to be honest. It's pretty much like an alt-right person, I think. Just let in the immigrants with money. Well, yes and no, right? in some cases, yes, but we should let those immigrants stay in their country and build up their own countries with their excess money, right? There's still an issue when immigrants come into the country, even though they have a lot of money. Now, I guess, in some cases they do create jobs, and that's good for the economy and stuff, right? Good for Canadians, but hopefully they're not nepotistic. And you see some people come in, they create like a pizza joint or whatever joint, or they're running a convenience store, and you're like, oh, so these are business owners, but who do they hire? You don't see a lot of white people working there. And let's face it, those are old stock Canadians. Oh, so what? I can't be a Canadian because I'm not what? No, I'm not saying that, but the majority of old stock Canadians have white skin. So if I don't see a lot of white skin people working in your establishment, then I'm gonna be like, oh, okay, you're not hiring Canadians, right? Oh, but I just got my citizenship a year ago, and I'm a citizen. It's like, shut up, you fucking asshole. Housing shortages are deliberate. Driving up sale costs makes the government more tax money. Yeah, they don't give a fuck about us. Nope. This one thing that Garvey said on the stream, which I've said as well, which I agree with, is that globalists have no allegiance to any country, right? So they don't give a fuck if they ruin our economy. They don't care if they ruin our oil and gas sector, because they will just move to the Bahamas, to Switzerland, to Europe, to some other place, to Saudi Arabia, and they go live somewhere there. They don't care. They're rich. They got tons of money. They can build gates around their complexes to keep the poor people out, right? People wonder, like, why would they destroy the economy like this and do this? Because they're not looking at it at like a national scale like we are. They're looking at the global scale, and they're like, okay, let's get our resource development in this part of the world and these parts and China and Africa and all these other places, and get it out of the West. We'll make the West into whatever it is, into a service economy or something, enslave and debt those people, because a lot of Westerners want freedom, which is opposed to what they want, which is like, collectivism and fucking authoritarianism, socialism, communism, and let's face it, I'm not puffing up white people. I'm not puffing up white men by saying this, but they're the only group that likes small government, that is against the creeping globalism that is creeping all over the world. Now, doesn't mean there's people in other countries that don't like globalism and that want, obviously they all want control of their own countries too, but the only people that are really threatening the expansion of globalism is small government. It is the Western world and the ideas of capitalism, free markets, of like the things that we invented. But it's not the case with the rest of the world, and that's why they're trying to replace us, because we're standing in their way. We're standing in the Marxist way, the Jews way. I don't fucking know, not all Jews, but I'm saying, like, they're standing in the globalist way. So it's pretty obvious why they want to kill us with opioids and drugs, demonize us as fucking racist, supremacist, just because we want to remain the majority in the countries our ancestors founded, right? Why is that such a bad thing? It makes absolutely no sense, but it's bad for us. Nationalism, patriotism is good for I don't know, Israel and all these other countries, but in Western countries, nationalism is bad because it's going to lead to Nazism and shit, right? There's something I was reading today about Germany, and there's this one woman, or no, in Italy, this 93-year-old Jewish woman is saying, like, oh, blah blah blah, I'm receiving racist death or threats or anti-Semitic threats because on my social media, or I don't know, she's like 94, so I guess she's getting letters sent to her house or something. Or maybe she's on Twitter or Instagram. I have no fucking clue. But she's saying she's receiving all these messages because she's trying to propose, policies or something to ban extremism and ban anti-Semitism. But in it, the further right Salvini party and stuff didn't vote for it because they're like, there's no mention of Islam, and there's no mention of Islam and that in the rise of anti-Semitism towards Jews. They just want to blame it on, the right wingers, and they want to blame it, and then they want to censor everybody. See, that this is why they're bringing in these huge hordes of Muslims and shit, so they cause a lot of crime, a lot of problems, a lot of racism, etc. Then they go, okay, well, now we got to censor and ban everybody. And the real issue, the real extremism you need to worry about is right-wing extremism. And you're like, this is fucking stupid. But what do you know? I've been blocked by Manny for a few years after mentioning that he's a lobbyist and a lawyer. Yeah, Manny's such a joke, man. Like every day, it's like 5-6 different tweets or whatever about the PPC, and I'm like, let it go, man, let it go for fuck's sakes. But here, guys, I want to send my Discord link to people if they want to join my Discord. Here, let me just copy it. Follow me on Discord. Follow me on, Gab, Minds. I'm on all those things as well. I'm not on Twitter because obviously I'm banned. And that's one thing. I wish I had Twitter so I could argue with Manny or make him look stupid. But I guess he would have blocked me a long time ago, I'm sure, because he's blocked lots of people. But, he just goes on and on. Here's another thing that he was going on about here. Let me share this. Okay, so now he's like, why isn't Max working? What the hell? The laziest, narcissistic Trudeau worst PM with record numbers of holidays and personal days is back at work after a 2-week break. Max is not, but all the PPCs are okay with that. You know why? I will not say why. Why are you so obsessed with Bernier? Did he kick your dog? When I practice law, I help the family get their child out of a cult led by a narcissist. So it's important that the facts are published. I'm just trying to help you guys, relieve you from a cult. Max, why isn't he working? He doesn't even have a seat anymore, you idiot. It's like, what are you talking about? Doing what? Like he just got married and shit, like during the election and shit. Like give him a fucking honeymoon and shit. Why Trudeau's back at work? Trudeau's the prime minister, you idiot. You moron. Like, you think this is like a good equivalent? Like, so I'm like, either you're stupid or you're trying to mislead stupid people who take you seriously. But here's another tweet from this guy here. So let's see. Which one? I've got a few of them. Warren Kinsella is back to tweeting. Max is not. This one's funny too. Share. Let me see. Chrome. Maybe I should just share the whole thing. But here's Manny Ottawa. Warren Kinsella is back tweeting before Max Bernier, still on break. So Warren Kinsella is tweeting and Max isn't. So your point is what? Max, get to work. Start tweeting on Twitter, because that's like, and just bringing up Warren Kinsella just reminds people that the Conservatives hired him to smear the fucking PPC during the election period. Well, not during, because I guess they were up to snuff with the new election laws that would ban you or what do you call it? Maybe it would fine you or put you in prison for lying about a political candidate. See, they stopped. Warren Kinsella, the campaign stopped right as the election started, right? So, but yeah, you're just reminding everybody of that, you dumb idiot, and how the Conservatives are pretty sneaky. And they've gone so far left that they're now using leftist tactics to smear their opponents. It's stupid. All they're doing is legitimizing those attacks on themselves. Because you see Manny Ottawa being like, look at these racist, sexist PPC supporters thinking that he's going to attract liberals by condemning the racist PPC or something. It's like, you're so stupid. They still think you're racist, but that's what I'm thinking. This guy is there to purposely mislead you because he knows the numbers of immigrants coming in. He knows the amount of birth of replacement that is going on. He knows the birth rates of old stock Canadians, and he said so himself. He's an immigrant. So, the thing is, the reason I initially thought of making it so you got to wait 3 generations for immigrants to be able to vote and all this shit is because they don't have allegiance to Canada until they've been here for a while. I was talking to this one girl, and I was talking to her, and she's from a different country originally, right? And she moved to Canada, and she's honest, right? And she's like, hey, I don't have the same allegiance to Canada than I do for my home country. Obviously, if something bad were to happen here, I would go back to my home country. And I'm like, oh, well, yeah, exactly, right? And after talking about that, I was like, yeah. So, even this person who's like a first or second generation I was talking to, they still feel like a connection to their home country. So I think, Manny Ottawa, immigrants as well. I'm not saying all immigrants are bad and shit either. And that's not racist because immigrant isn't a race. But, it just... he's probably, it doesn't seem to me that he has a real allegiance to Canadians and old stock Canadians if he's okay with us being replaced by fucking immigrants, because he's like, oh, well, it doesn't matter. I'm an immigrant too. Who cares? I voted conservative. But it's like, you're white, Manny. You're white. Of course, you and your family vote conservative, you idiot. But what are you going to do? But everybody hit the like, share button, subscribe. Like I said, follow me on Discord. There's my Discord link. Follow me there. Hey, Just Cringe Diversity, man. How's it going? Let me check out the chat. Hey, Boingo Bear. Is TCR done? Yeah, TCR is done. I'm no longer doing it anymore. It was just, I don't really like the scheduling, to be honest. I'm not one for doing a stream at like 8:30 or whatever every Wednesday or Saturday, because it kind of just makes me like, okay, should I cover this? Should I not cover this? Should I save it for this show? Should I not? And also, you get home from work and you're tired and you're like, man, I don't want to fucking do a stream right now, or I don't want to have to find a bunch of shit. And, I'd rather do something when I have more energy, right? Like I got home from work early. I had a few things I want to talk about. So I was like, hey, let's do a fucking stream. And, I kind of prefer those anyways, but yeah, TCR is done. So no more TCR for you, Boingo Bear. I'm sorry, buddy. That's amazing. I wish I could afford that. Do you think they will erect a museum for all the Jews that experience anti-Semitism on Twitter? Probably. It's ridiculous. They're just the biggest complainers on the planet. Lawyer that explains it all. White Christian in the US and Canada are one group and should act that way. Exactly, AJ. Trudeau, Hussein, etc. will just leave when they are done if they aren't locked up. The power always seems to find a way to stay in the same hands year after year, decade after decade, century after century. Well, not necessarily, right? Like, there's, I would say there's 2 steps forward, 1 step back, right? Because think about it, we have improved in society and in history, we have more rights and freedoms to a large extent than our counterparts did a few hundred years ago. And in France, where my ancestors came from, or England, or wherever, people were serfs for many years. Like we had slavery, which in Western countries it still goes on in like Muslim countries and African countries and shit. and whatever, and like India and stuff. But you know, we have improved. You know, we don't treat human beings largely to the same way that we did before. You know, and the populace has gotten more power and less power, and but I think overall that the trend of history is the people getting more and more power themselves, right? And like I said, there's a one step back, but you know, if you look back in history 2,000 years ago, even, you know, in Rome, in Greece, 90% of the people, or more or less, a little bit less, were slaves, right? They were all slaves. And you know, slaves, you could do whatever you wanted to. You know, you could kill, you could rape, you could beat, you could whip, you know. And we have improved. We, you know, I would find that disgusting to do that to another human being, as well as probably you and everybody else in this chat would not find it okay to enslave another human being. But not too long ago, it was like, yeah, well, that's okay. You know, it's fine. Who's going to pick the cotton? Who's going to pick the cotton in the fields if we don't have slaves, right? But you know, without slaves, that forces people to invest in labor-saving devices, which eventually, you know, creates, you know, tractors and these devices that can, you know, pull up way more grain than slaves ever could, right? You know, when we can't think about the future when doing something that's right. You know, when it came to the slaves, right? People were like I said, they're like, who's going to pick the cotton? Who's going to do this? It's going to destroy our economies. Like, all these bad things are going to happen, but it's like, no, it's wrong. It's wrong to enslave people. I'm not saying that was the exact reason why they stopped enslaving them too. There were some economic reasons, whatever. But like, you know, once they stopped enslaving people and people were like, okay, well, then, you know, they had more time to start, or not more time, but they started investing in things that would make their lives easier instead of relying on just cheap labor that they can be like, okay, go work the fields. There's no point of me thinking of anything because I have slaves. Like, you know, the Greeks as well too, they had like a steam engine. They had the capability for steam power and all this shit, but they had slaves to do the majority of what they wanted. So, you know, that probably slowed down the progression of humanity, us enslaving, doing bad things to other humans. So, you know, the nicer, the better we are to each other, the more advanced it seems to be that we will become. You know, the more horrible we are to each other, the more we enslave, the less advanced we're going to become, right? And if aliens do exist and we're bad to each other, and you know, we'll be vulnerable because they'll come and they'll just enslave us. And if we're better, but you know what? Thinking about that, if it seems like being better to each other creates more prosperity for humanity, and if aliens have the capability to, you know, fly into space and travel through, you know, to different planets, would that imply that aliens are a good race, are a good species? Because if they were right from the beginning, you know, a succubus species on each other, and we're just constantly bad to each other, would they have developed to the point where they could travel to space? You know, that's just something I was thinking about right now. But that's kind of an interesting thought, though, right? Yep, I would have blocked you, most likely a lazy lawyer who can face. I think they may have already. We are being Mr. Nice Guys for so long, we are turned into Mr. Lamos. Well, sure, I guess. I don't know. What do you want to do, Frederick? Go start killing people or something? Well, you know, you can go do that if you want, and get manly again and grow some hair on your chest. I don't know. But, you know, I don't know. I don't know what we should do. What the problem isn't necessarily that we're getting soft, because you look at you know, China or whatever. Mongol, they're not the strongest group, but they were able to take over other people with their technology. The more technologically advanced we become, the softer we are going to become inevitably, because our lives are going to be easier. Unless you want to go and live in the mountains on a tall hill and make your life really hard, and like go get water every day from the ravine, and then haul it up the stream or the mountain, and then you'll get strong. You'll be strong, but you're not going to go to space. You're not going to make laser weapons that are going to destroy your fucking enemies. Like that. It's technology that really matters when it comes to conflicts between people. That's what really matters. Brute strength means very little. But we're also getting socialized. We're getting tons of socialism, and that's making people stupid, right? Essentially, we're getting stupid with this socialism, and that's not good, and that's making us weak. I agree with that. That we're soft because of socialism, not because of progression. I see a lot of people, they're blaming like modernity. They're like, oh, it's modernism. It's the modern. That's the problem. And you're like, no, I disagree. I don't think it's that's the problem. Did I say that? You said, we have been Mr. Nice Guys for so long, we are turned into Mr. Lamos. Well, I don't know what you're implying. We should not be Mr. Nice Guy anymore. So did you say that? Let's not be Mr. Nice Guy. Well, why are you saying this to me? Why are you responding with that? I don't get it. Because I'm not saying we need to be, we need to take in migrants into our homes and to do this and that, but you should be a good person. Being a good person makes good things happen to you in your life on average. Like, or you can go and steal and fight and whatever people. I'm not saying you're saying we should do that, but I don't see that, as a good thing. The reason why Christianity is so much better than a lot of other religions is because it's universal, because they apply their principles universally, as opposed to Islam and Judaism, which are like, well, we treat our own good, or in group we treat fine, but everybody else not so much. Christians are the only one who applied their ability or their whatever their ethics universally. So that's what led to eventually them abolishing the slave trade. That's what led to, it's the combination of Christianity, probably Roman and Greek philosophers and stuff, that eventually led to Christians and stuff relinquishing, or kings and queens and stuff relinquishing power and stuff, or the people, coming to terms, because it wasn't like just the average common person that thought up like, hey, we should start this radical new system where people have more power and this and that, right? It's usually the people on top, a lot of them, that actually come up with these ideas and then start changing shit. Oh, hey, Julie Mora, how's it going? Progress is really just degeneracy. History goes in cycles. Winter's coming. No, progress. See, that's what I'm saying. Progress is not just degeneracy, because Christianity is progress, and we didn't have Christianity throughout the majority of history. And majority of history, we were degenerates then, right? So to say progress is degeneracy makes no sense. Do you want to go back to living in caves where we beat people over the head with clubs and shit? No, you want progress. See, you're not going to go live like the little red, or what's that family that lives on a field from that movie or that show that was in like the 60s or something, right? Like, I can't remember the name of it, but progress is good. Technology is good. Automation is good. These are good things. They're labor-saving devices. They make our lives a lot easier. When a car came around, the people who made the horse and buggy were like, oh, but what? That's going to destroy the horse and buggy industry. Well, Fuck the horse and buggy industry. We don't need it. Nobody likes it. Do you want to get around a horse and buggy? No, you're going to use a vehicle, a car. Progress is good. Just cringe. Little House on a Prairie. That's the one. Little House on a Prairie, right? You know, traditionalism is good. Being traditional is good, but we're not going to go back to living that way. And that's not the way you want to live either. In this day and age, so-called progress has become, well, yes. Okay. All right. I agree. Progressive is just equals degeneracy when it comes to the left. Yes, I agree with you. But I'm saying like the actual word, like progress itself, is good. Like, I mean, like progress is good. Yeah, exactly. How don't old stock Canadians have more rights than immigrants? You won't be using shit when this economic collapse hits. Fiat currency is good. Well, no, fiat currency isn't good. Are you asking me that? No. Okay, look, that's what I'm saying. There's 2 steps forward, 1 step back. See, the past few years or 60 or 80 or so years, we've been on this fiat currency shit. America went to the fiat currency, but they initially started off with a government that was very small and eventually grew and expanded to what it is today, right? But there was progress there. But even back then, there was like slavery, right? So there's progress. We don't have slavery. The government's bigger, but but still, go back a few hundred years, we were serfs to kings and queens. Go back 1,500 years, 2,000 years, you were likely a slave to somebody. You know what I mean? To some, the Celts enslaved tons of people. You should see how the Germanic tribes and all these groups treated their slaves. So slavery, that doesn't really happen anymore, and most people find it disgusting. So there, progress. We are progressing to a large extent, which is good. So keep, we need to look at it from a further perspective, where we're in the woods and it's hard to see the trees when you're in the woods or whatever. I don't know how the fucking saying goes. Well, thank you, Santiago Guerrera. Hey, Julie. Much news will be coming out about the anti-gravity craft and Space Force. Donald Trump's uncle was a friend of Tesla. Oh, cool. There's an anti-gravity craft. The Scots were slaves to England, right? That's what I'm saying. Like, the way we treated each other not very long ago, if you just look at some history books and, look a little bit into history from not long ago, people lived a lot fucking worse, so be thankful for the way things are today. Now, nothing's perfect, right? And there's lots we can improve on, but, don't you gotta understand we have it pretty good in a lot of ways. But here's my Discord again, guys. If you want to follow that, everybody hit the like, share, subscribe button. Sharing will help this a lot. The Slavs were slaves. Yeah, exactly. Frederick is a slave. He's the original slave. His people were the original slaves. Trees are for cutting. Yeah, hard to see the forest through the trees, right? Yeah, I'm bad with sayings and quotes and names and like remembering things. Les Québécois, filles du roi, genetic prostitutes. Well, they're not genetic prostitutes. No, I looked them up. Les filles du roi. English is hard, but I looked up that they were handpicked by the king, right? Or whatever, right? In France, the filles du roi. And they were given tons of money and all this stuff when they came to Canada compared to all the other women, right? And a lot of them were virgins, right? They were not prostitutes. A lot of them were virgins. And, they were like, les filles du roi or whatever. Some of them were a lot of them were unmarried women or whatever. Maybe some of them were prostitutes. I don't know. But that's not actually true. Just more just shitting on the French. I don't have horse blood. I am related to, like, on my mom's side. There's I think somebody that was a fille du roi or something, or married to one. But no, my ancestry comes from all different uh, areas and shit. But I think, yeah, maybe whatever. The Mayflower, whatever. We all have bad shit in our history, I guess. Yeah, exactly. I don't, thank you, Julie. I appreciate that. But I agree. I'm really bad with like remembering names and stuff. Like, people will tell me their name, I'll forget it probably like 5 minutes later. And if I do remember it, then I'll remember it for a long time. But it just, names aren't important to me for some reason. They're just not important. Faces I can remember for years and years and years. I have a really good facial recognition. Whereas I'll see somebody that I saw when they were like 6, and I'll be like, hey, are you this person? Or are you related to this person? I'll be like, yeah, they're my cousin or my brother or something, right? But when it comes to names and shit like that, I'm not good. I'm better with concepts, bigger concepts and ideas, and talking about that, as opposed to remembering little facts and tidbits and stuff like that, right? It's more difficult for me. I'm not Arab, you fucker. I'm not Arab. Not Arab. You piece of shit. My Syrians are doing good. They're doing pretty good. Je parle français quand je veux dans mon crise de pays. Booba. Think about the diversity cult when you go to the zoo. Are all the animals penned in one cage? No. Why is that? Because they're different species, right? Same thing about faces and names, AJ. Right. I did some tests about facial recognition because I thought I was really good at it. I was like, I think I'm pretty good. And I did some tests, and then I was like, they're like, you're a super recognizer, a super recognizer. You're like in the top percentile of people who can recognize faces. So, yay. Maybe that's bullshit study. I don't know if the test I did was good or accurate or something, right? I just assume most things are bullshit. So, but I would believe it because I know a lot of people, when they see somebody and they're like, oh, who's that? I'm like, you don't know who that is, or whatnot. It's like little cues. I forget. I watched this one movie where it was a really weird movie a few years ago. I think it was Tom Hanks, and they wore like weird faces, and they were like aliens and stuff. But I was still able to be like, oh, that's this actor, this one. AJ is talking ribbit. I don't know. Oh, ribbit. Le Québec est le corps et le seul vrai Canada. It's true. You're right, Charles. You're right. C'est le vrai Canada. C'est mon peuple. C'est mon pays. C'est le mien, pas le tien. But yeah, right. The French did come here first, and they have a right. That's why I don't care when people are like, oh, the Quebec did this and that. I'm like, whatever. I don't care. Move from there. That's their area. Let them be French there and shit. But don't get me wrong, I'm still pissed off with the way that they're abusing the rest of Canada. But when it comes to whatever else, I'm like, I don't give a shit. Bien oui. But he was raised by an Italian woman. Who was? You can't remember Kevin Spacey. You couldn't remember. Yeah, I couldn't remember Kevin Spacey. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, I can't remember names. I know he is. I know his face. I know he's been in movies. But I know he's a pedophile. We prefer to be called New Haiti, if you don't mind, AJ. Half Arab and half German. What the fuck? What the fuck happened? Why God? Who's half Arab and half German? Only Arabs have Syrian slaves. Well, I'm an exception. I have Syrian slaves too. It's not only Arabs, you bigot. Maybe it's because you're racist. and you think only Arabs are able to have slaves. See, it's what I'm saying. People, we take 2 steps back, 1 step backwards, or 2 steps forward, 1 step back. So, I still have some Syrian slaves, and they're doing my work, and they're stopping my progression as a human, because if I didn't have them around, then I would, be a better human being or something. But I really do like the cheap and easy labor, right? But globalists, they don't give a shit, because, like I said, they can move, they can go to Switzerland or some other country and live there if they so please. Doesn't matter to them how much they fuck the country. But I love the AJ Syrian slave joke. Well, thank you, Julie. Yeah, thank Rance Derrick for that, because he's the one that started with all these accusations about me and my slaves and my casting couch, which I make my slaves perform on every night. And then I send those videos out and I make a ton of money. But, that's just between us, guys. That's just between us. See, yeah, there are some things the people in the medieval time did well. And T Nova is right. I wish I had a medieval dungeon. There's some things that I'm like, yeah, I wish it was still like that. That is still pretty cool. But, I don't want to die from a flu. I don't want to die from a little cold or diarrhea. I prefer having, things to cure those illnesses very easily. And newbie, us Frenchies had 2,000 slaves. Well, AJ make Arab slave videos. Yeah, well, I do. Is Rance the guy who smells like a racist from a mile away? Yeah, he's the one that smells like a racist. Yes, they all know we're joking, Julie. Don't worry. I'm pretty sure. Hopefully, I'm sure there's going to be some people that believe it, but I think most people hopefully understand it's a joke. I would not enslave anybody. I like people. It's I would never think of harming anybody or enslaving them. Like I said. 1 second here. Let me just look at what is sick stomach. Okay, let me share some more stuff with Manny here. Okay, that's why I know why. Okay, I'm just deleting a couple things that I have of him. Liberal seniors. Okay, so this is something I want to share of Manny as well, because this kind of just honestly would make me like Max a little bit more, right? So, Manny goes on, he's talking about Trudeau, I think initially, or he's like, Canada's parliamentary system predicted on MP representing constituents. Every constituency has different needs. Boast Quebec is milk producers riding, elected a Bernier since 1984. Max betraying his constituents. Lost his seat. Simple. And it's like, yeah, there are some parts of the country that like communism, right? Like supply management. Now, Max saying that he's against supply management while apparently his riding is pro-supply management, to me, makes me like the guy even more. You understand that, right? Because it's like, wow, he's willing to he understands essentially that they're not going to like that position, but he's going to stand on principle rather than pandering to the constituency of that specific area, right? I'd rather somebody run politics in each area riding the same and say the same message in each place, as opposed to having a specific message for each party or each riding or whatever, right? Saying to one area, don't worry, we hate socialism. And then to another one saying, don't worry, we love socialism, right? But this guy, he's stupid. He doesn't understand that This just makes them look better, right? Western Canada Liberal senior ministers Amarajit Sohi, Ken Hur, Raf Goodell all lost their seats. They turned their backs on oil pipeline industry constituents. So Max is no different than oil-hating Liberal cabinet ministers betraying of dairy constituents. I'm like, lay off, man. Like, this guy's obsessed with fucking Max. Is ridiculous. But he's equating Max not supporting the dairy cartel as him being as liberals who are trying to destroy our energy sector. Like, what a fucking retard. I hate this guy, but it's Manny Ottawa for you. Oh yeah, this is pretty funny too here. This is another one from Manny. Let me see here. Manny Ottawa. Okay, so I would love to put conservative voice. Okay. Charles Sadler in a room with Maxime Bernier or any of my PPC followers. And all these tweets are from today, guys, by the way. Just from today, right? Or any of my PPC followers who have polluted my timeline saying Scheer is a liberal, same as Trudeau, libcon, socialist, lefty. How great would it be if people were honest and factual? So Charles Adler's like, my politics didn't move to the center. The Conservative Party took a hard right. So he's essentially saying, he's like, oh, I didn't leave the Conservative Party. They left me. Hard right. And this guy is just a huge leftist, right? And what the fuck was I gonna say again? I lost my train of thought. Sorry, one sec. What was it? I would love to put conservative voice Charles Adler in the room with Maxime Bernier or any PPC followers who have polluted my timeline. Oh yeah, right. Because he's using Charles Adler as saying, like, see, Charles Adler is saying the conservatives have moved right and he hasn't moved left. And that's why he actually left the Conservative Party. Oh my God. It's like, you actually believe that? The Conservative Party has been moving further left. Anybody with their eyes open can see that. But this is just propaganda from paid shills like Charles Adler trying to get the party to move further left, to try to convince people that right-wing anything is bad, right? See, this is what these basic conservatives don't understand, and they don't understand that they're next, right? It's the continued alienation is going to just heighten because these people are like Marxist, socialist or something, and they hate capitalism. They hate small government. And just because you condemn the racist like us doesn't mean that you're going to get away from the smears. You're going to get away from the condemnation. You're going to get away from the idea that the party is moving further right, because this is the message that they're going to be promoting left, right, and center, being like, oh, the party is going further right. And I'm like, that makes no sense. Makes absolutely no sense when they're for more immigration. They're for a lot of socialism. They're for giving the media money. They're for the climate compact agreement. They were for the global pact for migration until a lot of conservatives that were alerted by probably a lot of PPC YouTubers about the global compact for migration and how it was a big deal. And, I remember Michelle Rempel on her Twitter or on her YouTube saying, don't worry, guys, it's non-binding agreement. Don't worry about it. Why is everybody freaking out about this? Then 2 weeks later, oh, it's bad. It's bad, guys. It's really bad. And we got to pull out of it. Like, okay, all right. But the party is moving further left, and you see them. I see the CBC articles left and right saying like, okay, the Scheer needs to embrace climate change, embrace gays more so than he's already doing. He's already doing it a lot, and they want him to do it even more because like this is why he lost. So that would just ensure Trudeau wins again because these people are so dumb. It's like, just just say what you believe. I read a really good article, which I think it was from the National Post, and some guy saying that essentially the conservatives are under the assumption that they can't win on conservative ideas. So they think it's like these are taboo things now, but they can. And if they were just more adamant about what they believed and shit, but they're not. They're globalists as well. They're pandering to people. Do you like? No, I don't like minimum wage for workers. Why would I like minimum wage for workers? Minimum wage destroys business. It's bad for workers. It's bad for small businesses on average. Increasing the minimum wage. Think about a small business that has 3 employees. Now they're paying their employees $11 an hour. Okay. Now you increase minimum wage to $15 an hour. So they have a living wage because people are stupid and believe this shit. Like now they got to fire one of those people because they can't pay 3 people $15 an hour. And when they raise the minimum wage $15 an hour, everything else is just going to go up anyways. Like the cost of living, inflation, everything is just going to go up with that. So, it's better for wages to rise organically. And you want to have the ability to bargain, right? So, if there's a minimum wage, it doesn't give you the ability to outcompete other people a lot of the time. But, that would be more in a free society, free economy and stuff. But, yes, it doesn't work that way right now. And there's a lot of reasons why the price of living is so high and why a minimum wage or the average low wage doesn't cover basic necessities. And a lot of it has to do with the government influence in the economy. And if it wasn't there to begin with, people would be able to live off of the income that they're getting paid for any job, essentially, that they're working. But it's not the way it works right now. Val, I just don't see a recovery from this. All prices follow minimum wage, so no further ahead. Exactly, right? Thank you, sir. I still am proud I voted PPC. I will again, so long as they uphold the platform. Yeah, exactly. I was thinking about this too the other day too, is that, you see a lot of people when they say, who did you vote for? And they're like, liberal, NDP, conservative, but the PPC, if you voted for the PPC, you can say without worry, essentially, and with pride, yeah, I voted for them. They had the best policy positions. I agree with like most of everything that they were proposing. They don't have a bunch of scandals like the conservatives, the liberals, or where they backtracked on people, where they, granted, they haven't been given the chance to backtrack yet, which is possible for sure. But it's much easier to stand behind, hey, yeah, I voted for them. And you might get some idiot, aren't they a racist party? But that would just give you an opportunity to wake them up to the propaganda that they've been listening to for years. I'm proud to have voted PPC, Trump 2020. Thank you, sir. I still am proud. Organically, yeah, prices rise naturally, where your wage will be able to pay for food prices and housing prices. It's like, think about 50 years ago, even, or even when I was a little kid. When I was a little kid, I could go into the store with $1, essentially, and I could buy like a bag of chips and a chocolate bar. Now that's like $5. It's like $5 for both of those things. And my wage, that $5 isn't valued the same as that $1. I think I can't remember the numbers, but it's something like 100 years ago too. It's like our purchasing power with our money is way, way down. And that has to do with the government. Yeah, that's true. But, you know, you got to start somewhere. Wish I could have voted PPC just out of the country right now and I didn't get my mail in ballot. Yeah, that's bullshit, man. Trudeau, I'm sure it's probably because you're white, you didn't get your mail. 5 cents for a chocolate bar. Thank you, Big Boy Blue. Yeah, 5 cents for a chocolate bar. Things were so cheap back in the day, right? Like it's amazing how expensive living has become. And why is that? There's many different explanations for that. Uh, it could do with trade as well, and policies, regulations, preventing industry. Also, what is it? Like with doctor fees and stuff like that. Just what they have to go through in order to get their degrees, which also raises prices for hospitals and doctors. At one point, doctors used to come to your home and used to do home visits and home checkups to your house. But, with socialism and free healthcare for all, now we have doctors refusing service or saying only one issue per visit in Canada. That's what's happening now more and more now. There's doctors saying you can only bring up one issue, the most important issue, when you come to me because I have all these other people that I have to fucking see. And how do you know as a patient what is the most important issue? You don't. You don't know. And then you get these, hurry the fuck up, right? And it's not like a free healthcare system, right? They're not getting paid like hourly. They can charge per person, right? So they're like, okay, get out of here. I can charge somebody else per person, right? Whereas, in a lot of places in America, you go see your doctor and they'll like take the time and, do everything, listen to everything that you have to say. And like their system is heavily socialized as well too, right? You got tons of illegal aliens going and using their free healthcare system, and they pay nothing into it because hospitals are not allowed to refuse service to people. So people think they don't have socialism in America with their healthcare system. Most poor people don't have to pay for a lot of the surgeries. They don't go into debt. They don't like they get a lot of this shit covered for them if they don't have the money for it. Now, like I said, it's not perfect. There's a lot of fuckery around with their insurance system, and Obama trying to make it better, just ruined it even more, trying to make insurance companies cover pre-existing conditions, which is stupid, right? That completely destroys insurance if you say it covers pre-existing conditions or something, right? Like that's so stupid. Like that's you're ruining insurance by doing that, and you're making it insolvent. Like it's not going to be able to function if it just starts covering people like that pre-existing. That defeats the whole purpose of the insurance. Now, in a real free market, there would be other types of insurance, better insurances that would probably still cover some of that shit, but just not be as good, right? But I don't want to get in the whole fucking bogged down whole healthcare discussion because it's complicated and stuff, and I don't fully get everything about it either. I'm no expert. Don't take everything I say. Obviously not. I'm a fucking roofer. Seriously, right? It's just my opinion and what some of the stuff that I've seen and whatnot. Foreign doctors take foreign funds, sell foreign drugs, harvest organs. They don't care. They are here to replace us. Canadians need to be preparing for a major economic downturn and social disorder. I agree. Used to be a big stick. Rural healthcare and organizations tell the truth. Gay poppies is a diversion. The government destroyed the last 100 years of Canadian climate data this week. Put that in your climate change pipe and smoke it. Yeah, exactly. This is not going to make us look good. So let's get rid of this information, guys. It's not necessarily something we want to see here. Let's see. I can 1 second here. So here, come to my Discord, guys, and also going data stats. We could say, oh yeah, something I want to mention too as well is there's like numbers going around that there's like 1 million people coming into Canada every year, right? Or more than 1 million. Now, I don't think those numbers are accurate because I think what some people are doing is they're lumping all total people in Canada with the immigrant numbers that come in every year. So there's 330,000 immigrants that come in every year. And then they're looking at the total numbers of refugees, the total numbers of workers in the country, the total number of students, and I'm forgetting one other thing, I think. But those are total numbers, right? That doesn't mean, like, let's just say there's 70,000 workers in Canada in 2017. And in 2018, now there's 80,000. Now they've just added 10,000 workers. Now, I'm not downplaying the problem. Immigration is bad. It's probably higher than the 330,000 that are becoming permanent residents every year, right? So of the refugees, of the permanent residents, of the students, a portion of them are becoming permanent residents every year, but it's not the same number. So I would think you would have to divide those numbers, the total number of workers, this and that, by like 8 to 10 or something to get, and then add that to the total number of people becoming permanent residents each and every year. Now, all the people that are here, the million or so, will all become citizens one day, right? Which is a problem, and we got to stop this foreign worker program because it's ruining our wages, it's ruining our jobs, it's lowering the wages, and they have a pathway to citizenship as well. And but 250,000 students aren't coming in every single year on top of the 250,000 students we have in Canada already. Because if that were true, that our schools would be filled to the tits with only foreign students, right? They're looking at total numbers. So we got to be careful about promoting certain numbers. Now, I don't know the actual numbers. I think there needs to be more like information. We need to look into the information more, but it's definitely higher than they're saying. But we can't be wrong about this by like 1 million, right? Or 500,000, because the media, the left, will make us look pretty stupid, and then they will discredit anything else that we have to say later on. But, well, look, they said 1 million, 1.5 million people are coming every year. It's only 400,000 or 500,000, right? Which is still huge and a big problem, but now you've been discredited, right? So it's important that we get the correct numbers. Now, maybe I'm wrong about this, but this is my perception, right? It was just the other day I was thinking about it. It just came to me. I was like, wait, are these total numbers, or are these numbers coming in? Because not that many are coming in every year. Now, too many are coming in every year, way too many. And they're increasing the number of students that are allowed to come in. They're increasing the number of workers that are allowed to come in. They're increasing the number of refugees that are allowed to come in. But, like I said, it's just, we got to be careful about the numbers themselves, right? But it is also not 3K. These numbers aren't ambiguous. For example, are we counting people on the PR status? Well, permanent resident, like all the 300,000 people coming in or whatever are permanent residents, and then once they're permanent residents, then they have to wait 3 years to become a citizen, right? But that's pretty much, they're practically a citizen when they come here. But I'm saying the numbers are higher, definitely, but I'm not going to say it's 1 million, because our population would probably be closer to 50 million right now, or higher if that was the case, right? So you got to think, like, how many years has this 1 million people been coming in? If it's been coming in for 20 years, our population 20 years ago was what, 30 million or 30, or 30, yeah, something like 30 million. If that was the case, our population would at least be 40 to 50 million, even if you were to half those numbers down to 500,000 people coming in every single year. And you add that to like plus 20 years, what is that? Fucking like an extra 10 million, So we would have a 40 million or more or 50 million, So I think that it's definitely higher than they're saying, but I would estimate it's probably like 450 to 500,000 people become permanent residents, which is essentially just a citizen every year, which is huge, which is horrible. I think the problem is bad. Like I said, I'm not trying to downplay the problem. The problem is bad. It's really bad. We're getting too many people coming in, too many refugees, too many this, too many that. But we got to be careful, about what we're saying, because we have way more scrutiny on us than the left has on them. They can promote lies and bullshit and fake numbers all they want. But we have a higher bar that is set for us that we have to follow, because it just won't work out as well for us. I don't think so. And I don't think she's the person promoting this thing was Canuck Law. I don't think she's trying to mislead people or lie or anything like that. I think maybe we just misread the information a little bit. Islam will take over. AB and Saskatchewan are going to get flooded now that Trudeau singles out. Thanks, boomers. 95% minority status in less than 100 years. Don't attack the boomers on my channel, Jerry. That you're gonna get banned for that shit, man. Don't leave them out of this. I wonder how many illegals. I'm going to go up the chat, make sure I didn't miss anything. Hey, everybody, hit the like button if you haven't already. Hit the share, subscribe if you haven't. Follow me on Discord. I'm trying to get more people in there. Increase the amount of mofos in there, so we can have discussions, talk about stuff, all that crap. But here's the link in the chat once again. It's also not 350k. Okay, let me go down here. Socialism is soft communism. War is murder. Taxation is extortion. Governments are mafias. Police are gangs. Politicians are prostitutes. I agree with that statement. That's a good statement here. You know what I was thinking about though too? What we're not considering is that, let's just say the numbers aren't 1 million, okay? But what we're not considering is that all these refugees, all these students, all these permanent workers or temporary workers, a lot of them have kids, which then become citizens of Canada, right? And it probably seems like we're getting replaced a lot faster than it is, because not than it is. It's appearing that way even more so because they're all having kids. So you get all these immigrants to become a citizen, and then they have like 4 kids. Wait 20 years, you're fucking replaced, right? It's happening because they're a lot of these people are having children as well too. And those people, they may as well just be immigrants through their mother's womb. Let's be honest. You're born in Canada, sure, but if you're like a temporary worker, if you're a refugee, if you're a citizen for not many years and stuff, then you're practically just an invader through your mother's womb. Essentially, that it serves the same purpose, because oftentimes you'll see second generation kids are more nationalistic than their parents. And they'll have more nationalistic sympathies towards their home country than their parents do, right? And so it's not a good thing. Boomer AJ freezing our ass off here tonight. Oh, you're freezing, Linda. Well, be careful. AJ addressed the BQ, the Bloc Québécois. I love the old ship painting, AJ. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I like it too. I might sell it though. I'm trying to sell some of this shit. Demographics are changing so fast, we're in trouble. Islam will take over. Canada has been permanently changed already. Why would anyone be shocked if the country broke up? Yeah, exactly, right? Exactly. That's what I mean. Like, Canada has been permanently changed, guys. Vancouver, Toronto, parts of, like, those places are, kind of fucked, right? A breakup is inevitable. Like, I'm not even saying like, oh, Wexit or go for Wexit and these politicians promoting it. Like, I don't really care. Like, if they succeed with something, great. I don't know if the people are legitimate. I think their party is going federally now, which makes no sense, right? Why would you go federally? You're not going to be able to do anything federally. If you win provincially, then you could start the referendum process. You're not going to be able to do anything with a few seats, with 30 seats from Alberta, which you won't get because as we see, the Conservatives don't like to split the vote. So you're going to get a few seats, maybe, for Western separation. Voting for Max and federally would be a much better option. And then provincially, you vote for the Wexit party or something, right? That would make more sense. But they're doing that. But like I said, I'm not really even for that. But I think Canada will separate. That I think that's kind of just in the cards. It's unfortunate. It sucks, but that's probably what will happen. I don't know if it's going to happen in 20 years, in 30 years, in 40 years, in 10 years, in 100 years, but it's going to happen. I don't know when. It seems like people really want to separate now, which who knows could happen too, but I don't have my hopes up for that. I think, we'll see what happens with that, but I just know that it will eventually probably come to pass if Canadians are smart, if we're smart enough. But if not, then we're just going to be replaced. And that's the end of it, right? Man, it sucks. Not good, I don't want to be replaced. I'm sure you don't. And people don't like me when I say that. And they're like, oh, you shouldn't. I don't like that term, replaced, right? But I don't know what else to call it. Look at this dumb Chinese bitch. And I'm not saying all Chinese are bitches, okay? But look at this dumb whore crying. We're abandoned right now. Jing zing. A 36-year-old drafting student says that students who came to Quebec to build a life here are having their lives upended as the province plans to reform the Quebec Experience program, which was pretty much a pathway to citizenship for students, like a quicker pathway to citizenship. Now they're all like, I only came here to get a citizenship. See, that's what they're doing. They come into Quebec, get a quick pathway to citizenship, and then they go and they'll go to Ontario or Toronto after this, or wherever else. Or this girl will go and live with her family in Richmond and be like, let me into your country. I left all these things at my home, and I don't care. I don't give a shit. There are Canadians fucking in the streets that are freezing in the streets that need my sympathy more than you stupid fucking bitch. It's like, I hate this sympathy card. I don't know who panders to it, or who actually, that's the thing. That's why women should not vote, right? Because on average, it's going to be them that are going to be like, oh, but look at, she's crying. And not all women, not all, but who's going to buy this shit? Who's going to buy her crying? Who's going to pay attention to that? It's not going to be the men, unless they're trying to get into her pants, which not a lot of dudes are going to be doing, because she's not like one of those Asians that you want to bang, right? But let's hear this dumb broad. Like, yes, I'm being sexist. All right. Oh fuck. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna. It's been here for a little while, so it's gonna be all slow and stupid. But let me just refresh it here. Okay, so, or maybe it's just gonna do that because Twitter videos are shit. Sorry, guys. Let's see this.
And like me, already have a family.
already have a family.
We have a.
You already have a family? See? She already has a baby here. Came here just to fucking get citizenship.
So many things in our
original country.
We enjoy.
I don't care if you quit so many things in your country. When I don't care. Why do I have to give a shit? None of you guys are going to care when I'm being replaced in my country. When things happen, nobody's going to come and give a shit about us. So fuck you, right? Enough of this sympathy bullshit. Go and live in your communist regime in fucking China, right? That's what I can't handle these people. I can't handle these fake crocodile tears and this sympathy card that people are using, and like, oh, how could you rescind this thing that they're doing now? Come on, you stupid fucking video. Sorry guys, sorry for swearing. I apologize, but I just don't like this type of like.
We enjoy our life over here.
Come on.
And we already working very hard to stay over here. But now with the policy, we come over here because the old policy.
Can't even speak English yet. Go back.
It's like a contract. You need to respect the contract.
No, we don't. We could just say, like, you know what? Fuck the UN. Fuck these people. Fuck this contract. No, we don't have to respect it. If we decide that, hey, you no longer get this thing, well, I'm sorry, but that's the way it works. We're not gonna comply for you. You comply for us. It's a privilege to even be in Canada. Do you want to go and get run over by tanks in your country? Well, go be my guest, right? But it's a privilege to be here, and treat it like a privilege, not a right. It's a privilege. And you should be kissing the feet of old stock Canadians for letting you stay here instead of crying and complaining like a stupid bitch. Right?
Right now, you just like, you cancel the contract without listening to the other people. Like us, we are humans. We are abandoned. Right.
What about the hundreds of thousands of oil sector workers that were abandoned in their own fucking country by their own fucking leaders? What about the homeless people living on the streets when refugees are filling the fucking homeless shelters, right? What about them? They're abandoned.
I know.
But, you get these people trying to pull the sympathy card, make you feel sorry for them. And, no more sympathy. I'm Canada first, Canadians first, old stock Canadians first, right? And, if you've been here for a long time, your priorities should be number one, because it was you and your ancestors that created the country that people want to come to. It was you and your ancestors that created this place. And the only reason people are coming here isn't for the natives with their teepees and the bannock that they make, because people are like, oh, this is native land. No, nobody comes here for that. They come here for the rights and freedoms and opportunities that we provide to them. That the founding people of this country, which were European, Western European, French, English, Scottish, Irish, primarily, maybe a couple other small groups in there, were the ones who created a nation that you want to come to, that you want to exploit, that you want to live in. So, enough of this bullshit. Oh, you're an immigrant too. No, I'm a settler. My ancestors were settlers, and they fucking sorry guys, but my ancestors were the first white people born in the West, the first white person born in Alberta, the first white woman in Western Canada. You know, they were the first fucking people here. Same with my dad's side. They fucking built the town that I grew up in, right? You know, like they were the founders of that fucking town, essentially. So, you know, my blood and sweat of my family is in this country. And for people to think that I have no claim over it, no right to be angry about people coming in and replacing me is ridiculous. Bullshit. The only reason it's okay is because of the color of my skin. And that's it. You know, you can, oh, white, you're a white victim or something. But that's what it is. You know, because I'm a male, because I'm white. It's only happening in white countries, this shit. Nowhere else. No other place. You know, but what are you going to do? Any dev liberals, none of these. AJ is a potty mouth. Why would anyone choose Quebec for an education? Well, it's because they have a fast track to citizenship. Look at the crowd. Yeah, exactly. Look at the crowd, you know? Around the world, AJ has a roofing company. Oh, I wish. You know what, man? That's where the big money is, man. Roofing companies, man. I gotta start. Yeah, I gotta start doing some side jobs and stuff because fucking, you know, you can actually make some big money. I knew one guy. He did a small side job. Took him 2 weeks to do. He made 40 grand on a small side job. Like easy work too, man. He just had to do a scrape and torch, which you guys don't know what the hell I'm talking about, but it's not that difficult. And you know, I could have fucking, like, it would have been nice, easy work, not that difficult, not like back-breaking stuff where you're like, you know, hauling shit all fucking up 15 flights of fucking stairs, like I was doing at this one job where I had to work like, you know, 20 stories, but then the top five floors don't work, so I got to haul like fucking 100-pound fucking rolls on my shoulders up like 5 flights of stairs, and then all this wood and these huge 2x4s and fucking, or like 2x12s and all this crap. But you know, he made 40 grand on that fucking job. Like, you know, we're chumps for working for these people a lot of the times. And like, you know, if you go into business for yourself, you'll make a fucking killing. But the problem is getting the work, right? That's the difficult part, is getting the customers, getting this by or whatever. So, you know, when you do work, always treat people really well, do a really good job, because people will often ask for me and stuff back. They'll be like, I want that guy to come back and do my work because he did a great job. He was nice, all this shit. So if you start off on your own and stuff, then you could, you know, snipe some of those people and be like, hey, if you got jobs, I can do it for you. But you know, it's you know, then you got to make sure you have some reliable staff, right? Somebody who's going to show up every day, somebody this. There's a lot of things you got to worry about, and it's difficult to find reliable people. You know, people are not as replaceable as you think. They are somewhat replaceable, but you know, companies will go down if you start firing. If you fire your 2 top guys, you know, you'll see that the profits, you'll see the company just start to tank, because, you know, those guys left. Now they just got a bunch of shoddy workers left doing shoddy work. That's taking a really long time. They're not treating the customers well, all that shit. And you know, it's hard. It's hard to find good people. It's hard to find reliable people that are going to show up every day, because if you have a job and your guy doesn't show up, sometimes you need 2 people to do it. Like, you need 2 people to pull something up or do this or that. So it's like, you can work by yourself a lot of times, but not always. AJ hires some Indian cold callers. Yeah, right. I'm coming to Winterpeg. That's huge cash. Yeah, man. Fucking, you know, it's any city, bro. But that's a good thing about, you know, roofing too, is there's not as many regulations on it too. So you can start a company. You don't need to be a red seal. Somebody needs work on the roof and somebody wants to pay you money to do it. Then you can do it, man. I've seen some horrible work on roofs that somebody clearly just paid some retard to go on the roof and do work because they didn't want to pay a real company to come and do it. So they paid some maybe they saw some roofers one day roofing, right? Or something. And see, there's maintenance roofing and then there's production roofing. And, I do maintenance, but I also do production. I've done both, right? But, if you see some guys on a roof and you're like, hey, maybe you'll get a couple guys, hey, you do a side job for me. Maybe some of them are good, but some of them you may have just hired some retards that only know how to like push gravel and haul garbage and throw garbage out. And then you're going to get them to do work. Yeah, I know how to do that. And do some repairs, which a lot of production people don't know how to do certain repairs. They haven't had to do that. So you go up and you're looking at it. You're like, what the fuck is this? Or did they come and do this work themselves? Right. But, you can undercut the competition. I can undercut my roofing company by hundreds of dollars less than they charge. It still make a killing, man. A leak call for somebody, they call my company. I don't even know how much that's, but it's like $1,000 or hundreds and hundreds of dollars just for us to come there. I'm like, look, and I could charge way less for somebody and be like, yeah, I'll come. I've done that. This one lady, she came, can you come check my leak? And I was like, sure. I came, did a leak, spent about an hour there or 30 minutes. She gave me $200. So I made like $200 in 30 minutes or whatever. Right. I split it with the other guy. Right. So $100, but that's a good hourly wage for $30. But it's, like I said, I got to start getting out on that more, but I don't necessarily want to roof my whole life either, man. It's not easy work, man. You got to work in the cold and minus 30, 40 temperatures. Fucking, you know what I mean? It's not the easiest job. My back is killing me today, but it's money. It's good. It can be good money, right? No, I don't own my own roofing company, but I know this one guy who he has got some side work. I'd roof with you. Oh, roofer talk. Thanks to the internet, all of us dissenters are known. But yeah, I think I'm probably gonna cut it short, guys. I guess I had a couple other things I could show. What was this university program? Yes, that dumb bitch who was complaining. This one guy, Chris Alexander, is like, Wexit was partly initiated and massively amplified by online Russian-directed assets, including QAnon network members who spout the kind of scurrilous nonsense mentioned in the Vice piece below. So this is Chris Alexander, I don't know, diplomat, politician, so I don't know where he's from. And then there's a former U.S. National Security Advisor. I guess I'll show this maybe before we go. This is kind of interesting here. This is Suzanne Rice. So, former U.S. National Security Advisor Suzanne Rice warns Canada of serious risk to its relationship with the U.S. if it continues to do business with Huawei, right?
Without getting into classified terrain.
I think these videos are just gonna fucking do this the whole time. Let me refresh it one time here. But essentially, she's saying like, if we continue doing deals with China, the Five Eyes community and our relationship with them is going to be heavily diminished, and they're no longer going to be sharing data with us or anything like that, national security shit, because we're going to be compromised, right? They're probably going to kick us out of the Five Eyes thing, right? And that's good and bad, man, because a lot of things that we've found out about Canadian terrorists have been because of the American authorities and foreign intel from foreign governments telling us shit. But Trudeau wanting to suck China's dick so hard, it's going to screw us over, right? And now what is he doing? He's saying that he's going to sell pork to China. And it's like, no, we should be cutting off China's source of pork right now because they have a huge swine flu epidemic. And we should be like, no, fuck you. Starve. Go to hell until you release the Canadians that you have detained, you motherfuckers. Release these people. And then maybe we'll sell you some pork. Or sell it to them for like 3 times the amount that it's really worth. because they're in a bad situation right now, man. You got to pay attention what happens there. But see, Trudeau doesn't give a shit. Doesn't use this as a bargaining tool to pressure China. It's because he doesn't care. He's their bitch, and he's owned by them essentially, right? But let me check out the chat here. I'm gonna share my what do you call it, Discord link one more time here. Here it is. There. Follow me on Discord. All that other good stuff. I don't have my Gab and Minds and whatever link here because when you do a StreamYards video, it doesn't set all your presets. But if you go to one of my later videos that I did, like, my standalone 10-minute videos or whatever, you'll see all the YouTubers in there that you could subscribe to, as well as all the different things that I follow that I'm in. Thank you, Frederick. And like I said, I got Frederick's channel, not in this description, but in my other description. I have all these new YouTubers in there that I just recently put as well. So guys, go to my other last video. Good way to try to get you guys to watch it too, right? But go to my last video and go and look in the description and look through all the YouTubers, because I have a bunch new that I added, and maybe I'll make a video soon just highlighting all the new people or whatever things that I have posted or whatever. But go there, follow me on Discord, Gabs, all that crap. Fuck Derek. Nah. Thank you, I Don't Matter. I appreciate it. Jamie, have you guys ever thought of just becoming Muslim? If you can beat them, can't beat them, join them. Yeah, maybe. I've thought about it. They're right about women, right? It's because China owns Justin. Yeah, you're right. Truth. Salem Manklakum. Is that Muslim guy? Look at the nose on that thing. Is that me? Fuck you. AJ, look out behind you, a Dindu. Chinese are buying up frames here, AJ. Frames or farms? Yeah, man. Foreign investment from Chinese is just bad in general. They should be barred from anything in our country until they get their fucking act together. And, any of their shit should be barred. We can maybe trade with them, maybe in the future, 20 years down the road. But you see the new ambassador to China from Canada, he wears a fucking Mao Zedong thing or something, like that random suit he wears, because they're moving back to being communist in China, right? They had some economic progress in like the 80s and 90s and a bunch of reforms, but now they're changing all those reforms and making it back into like a pro-communist China place, right? But I see people saying something like, "Oh, like Maxime Bernier praised China." I'm like, he didn't praise the basic dictatorship of China like Trudeau did. Okay, I can praise China too, because they have raised hundreds of millions of people out of poverty because of loosening restrictions on their economy, allowing some free markets. Now, it's not saying China is good. China's great or anything, but you can point to, hey, there's not half their population living in complete poverty anymore because of some of the changes that they made. But that doesn't mean we can ignore what they're doing as a whole and all that stuff. But there is positive things to say about China. It doesn't mean you're pro-communist. But when somebody like Trudeau says, "I respect the basic dictatorship of China," then that's a little bit different, because he's saying he respects the dictatorship, right? You can respect reforms that they made in their economy to help rise people out of poverty, right? So it's a little interesting, right? What else did I miss here? Go AJ. Thank you. Night all. Have a good night, Daniel. The key is in repairs. Repairing roofs is money. Yeah, you're right, Jerry. It's in the repairs. It's in the repairs, man, because there's constantly roof issues, roof leaks. Like, I know how to do roof leaks really well too, man. So fucking, I can work in the rain. I can work after winter, after a big storm or something, because that will give me a lot of work and stuff too. And during a recession time, and stuff, I'm going to be in a pretty good position because people are still going to need their roofs fixed, whether or not there is a session or not. And they may not be able to hire an expensive company, but I can go there and be like, hey, I'll do your roof for half the price. And, I'll do a good job and all this shit. But I'll just take all the money instead of it going to the company that charges way, way fucking more, right? So, I can still go in there when there's difficult economic times and make money repairing stuff, right? In those times, using your hands is good. And you know what? Automation is not going to replace flat roofing. Maybe shingling, like shingling roofs and stuff, but you're not going to be able to build a robot to be able to go up onto your roof, walk up the roof, and then look for the fucking leak, repair it, and all this shit. That's going to be a little bit more difficult because if you've ever found leaks, what happens or what you have to look for. It had to be a pretty smart robot, to be honest, because sometimes you can be, okay, where it's coming from this direction. I'm not saying it would be a rocket science to be a roofer or anything like that, but there's too much involved. You would need like an android to do it, like a pretty smart android. And we're far away from that, very far away from that. But, it's going to be a good source of income, when if there are hard times being hit, because like I said, your roof is going to need to be repaired. I'll tell Derek that he can suck it. What does music have to do with orientation? Roofing, my brother is in a shingle, and so do I. Just got to learn the price, the jobs. Well, shingling, you're not going to make as money shingling because there's like a lot of competition with shingling, and the margins aren't as good with shingling, right? And you can only do it during the summertime and seasonal. It's very seasonal, right? Whereas with flat roofing, you can do it all year round, and you can do leaks, you can do all this other shit, certain repairs, small repairs on big buildings. So it opens up the amount. But then again, there's lots of work, and it depends where you are. I don't know. There's still lots of money to be made in shingling. Don't get me wrong. Like, especially if you have your own company and you're doing it yourself. I know lots of people who do that, but there's the margins are not as good because there's so much competition when it comes to shingle roofing, because frankly, you don't need to know as much, right? Like anybody, it takes balls, don't get me wrong. And, you got to go up on a roof and pitched angle, and it's dangerous as fuck as hell. But, you don't need to know as much, and there's not as many different roof systems and stuff. So, it limits the amount of jobs and work that you could possibly get. You're a shit company if you're not buying your shingles in bulk from a supplier. Well, yeah, right? Remember the troops, but more importantly, think about the trannies. But yeah, guys, I think I'm about done. I'll share the Discord link one more time. Nobody's saw it, but if you have a pitch roof, put steel on it. Oh, man. Oh, you mean like a pitch, like an actual pitch? I thought you were talking about like pitch, a material, because there's this pitch material that I worked with a while ago, and it made both my eyes swell up, and they don't use it anymore because it's cancerous and it's really, really bad for you. But they didn't tell me it was pitch, and then it got all in my eyes and shit, and it was terrible, man. It was horrible. My face swelled up 2 days, and I couldn't work because it was like just burning. But you just meant like the pitch of a roof, right? Yeah, the pitch isn't too bad. It's not that difficult. If there's a small pitch on a roof, then it's just fucking cakewalk. But man, I see some pitches I'm like, man, I would not want to do that shit, man. Like, hell no. I'm not going on these like crazy slopes and shit like that. My job's dangerous enough. I don't need to make it more dangerous and then make $10 less an hour, But some guys, you'll get paid pretty good, if you get paid per bundle that you lay, right? So if you work really fast and lay a lot of bundles, you can make some decent money, right? Go to the farm store and see AJ next week. All right, guys, but thank you for joining me, and have a wonderful night. Take it easy. Bye.